Hey, good morning, Jacques. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. I'm talking to Garth Brooks.
Entering his second year as the LSU head football coach.
It was the only way I could get a foot in the door.
Joined by the icon, Kim Mulkey. Hey, Coach, great to see you.
Allison Collins Acosta has been one of the more famous musicians in Baton Rouge for a long time. And she is nice enough to join us today because not only we're going to reflect on her career, but also talk about the Catering Reunion 3 at the Texas Club August 9th to benefit Louisiana Military Charities, Red, Rock, and Blue. Allison, great to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming down.
My pleasure.
You've done these before, right?
It's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
How long have you been, when was your first paying gig? When did somebody say, hey, we're going to pay you to perform at our bar, restaurant, whatever?
Well, that would depend on my first actual professional singing paying gig. I would have been 18, but with using my name and having my own little duo, trio, whatever it was at the time, it would have been. Did you ask me where it was or when it was?
Well, both.
It would probably be around 95 or early 96, and it was a place called Shannon's in Plaquemine.
All right. The West Side's the best side, right? Over the river?
For me, it was at that time, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Butterflies? Could you sleep the night before? What were the feelings like?
No, because I had been already a little, I had been singing for a couple of years professionally. So I was excited.
Were you a ham? Like as a kid? You were like...
Yes.
the wedding reception, the little girl who grabbed the mic and, oh, she's so cute, listen to her sing. That was you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had an inkling early on that there was something in you that you were going to perform.
Yes, I always knew I would perform either in acting or singing, something. I just, it was in me and it's what I wanted to do. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I knew that was what was in my heart to do.
Yeah, and so it starts, you're what, 6, 7, 8, you're singing get-togethers?
Well, it wasn't until I was about 10 years old that my peers started to recognize that my voice was a little special compared to the other kids. One of my cousins recognized. We would listen to the tape. Remember the tape?
Cassettes, yes.
The cassettes when Whitney Houston, Greatest Love of All came out, and we would listen to every song over and over on our little seesaw and sing all the words. And sounds silly to say this because I do not sound like Whitney Houston. I wish I did, but at the time my cousin was like, Allie, you sound like that lady. So yeah. Anyway, it just went on from there.
Well, real quick, I think I fell down a Whitney Houston YouTube binge the other day, and if you give me a vote, the greatest voice of our lifetime, I think it would go to Whitney Houston.
Absolutely, I would totally agree with that.
Yeah, and she danced a little, but it was all about the voice.
Yeah, she didn't need anything to help her. She just went out there and just give her a mic and a monitor and a PA system, and she's good to go. And
I've covered obviously a lot of sporting events over the years where they don't have a singer to do the national anthem, so they just play her rendition from the Super Bowl in 1991.
That's the best one. That's the best.
Goosebumps. And sad. She died at our age, the age where we are right now, 48 years old, all that talent, all that, God-given talent, and she was gone. It's a tragedy.
Yeah. Am I older than you?
I'm 48.
Oh, wow. I'm older than you.
Well, I wasn't going to bring your specifically. Whitney was 48, I think, when she passed.
Yeah, I cried when she passed. I think that was like in 2013. I remember when I found out I was at a gig, and I cried.
Yeah. It's like
my childhood.
Yeah. Growing up in the 80s when everything is kind of carefree and there's no worries. And I just remember all those songs, How Will I Know, and all those great pop songs that she had, Greatest Love of All. Mm-hmm. And then as she matured in the 90s, the Bodyguard soundtrack, I think, sold a billion copies.
Which was amazing. Yeah.
And then broke out as a movie star and all those different things. So I would give her, if I'm voting female or maybe all together, but then my male voice, I would go with Steve Perry from Journey.
Dude, you're my people. like that's like my two favorite singers. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have other ones too. I love Marvin Gaye. I love Shaka Khan. I love Gladys Knight. But they all have different flavors, different styles. But those are like my top two.
Do you go see Journey without Steve Perry and still enjoy it, or no?
I mean,
He does a great job. Ornell
he
Pineda.
does a good job, yeah,
But he was not part of the creative process for any of the stuff that they're famous for.
yeah.
So kind of a hired gun.
I wouldn't be interested in seeing.
Yeah. So those are my 2 votes. So as you're becoming a teenager, are you starting to sense, okay, now I can do this for money, or now I'm gonna get on stage, or?
Well, I just wanted to sing. Even when I was a teenager, it was nice to make a little extra money, and the money was easy compared to a regular, 9 to 5 minimum wage job. But I just wanted to sing. Like I would have died if I couldn't sing. I needed a mic, and I needed an audience, and I wanted to sing, and I would have done it for free at that time. That's not the case
Not now.
these days.
Allison does some charity, but not too much charity, right? So.
Well, I try when I can. But anyway, I just remember having this really incredible need to sing, and it was euphoric, and I could have just done it all night long. I just loved it, and I just wanted to continue to do it. And I didn't really care about, at the time, fame or fortune. I just wanted to be in a band. I wanted to make music and sing. That's just what I wanted to do. And then of course all the other stuff comes along with it, even the stuff maybe you don't want. But
You went to Santa Mola High School.
graduated from Santa Mola. Go Gators.
Go Gators. You got black on. You have the gold on, but you got the black on
That's
today.
just because it makes me look thinner.
Well, you're pretty thin. I don't think you need a ton of help there. Your fitness is what you do now, right?
Yep.
For a living.
Well, yeah, and singing still.
Right. Like you said, so it used to be, okay, the bread and butter used to be the music, and then the fitness stuff was kind of
Kind of
helping
took over that, yeah.
And
So-
now the fitness is everything. Well, not everything, but the music, you're doing the gigs 2 or 3 nights a week, or?
No, maybe every weekend. Maybe, yeah, we probably have about 5 gigs a month now.
Yeah.
So it used to be, I used to play 200 nights a year, but it's just not like it used to be when, back in the days. The music scene is a lot different now.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to bounce around too much. I did want to talk to you about that, but I'm not great at math, but I know that 200 out of 365 is a lot of shows. Now, that's back in like the early 2000s you're talking, right? Or
Yeah, no, well, mid-90s, when I came out on the scene, I mean, it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, some Sundays. There was, and we didn't even have to travel that far. You could play that much in Baton Rouge, and we used to do that.
Well, I sat down with Cam Pyle the other day, who is a huge part of putting this show together, August 9th, real popular local musician as well, real great guy, works in real estate and whatnot, and he was just talking about, it used to be like at the Catery, they had music 7 nights a week, full bands, not just an acoustic
Right.
guy, and he just said the opportunities for local musicians, they've dried up locally. You've seen that.
Especially after COVID, that really
Yeah.
jabbed it, yeah.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah, jab. COVID has been a convenient excuse for a lot of things, like going to a hotel, and not to first world problems or whatever, but now you can stay at a hotel 4 or 5 days. They never come give you room service or whatever. Well, we stopped doing it during COVID, and so
Yeah,
they
whatever excuse.
whatever excuse works. But is music? You think? I mean, you have kids, right? You have 3 kids. I mean, is music as important to them as it was to us?
Well, yeah, but in a different way. I mean, they love music, but they don't go out in places like we used to go out in places to experience it. My son is actually a vocal performance major at LSU, and he's all into classical music. So, I mean, he loves rock and, classic rock, that kind of stuff. But but he studies the classical, Bach, Beethoven, that sort of thing.
Well, unfortunately, classic rock has long passed up like Pearl Jam or Nirvana. It used to be classic rock was
Boston,
Yeah.
and the Eagles,
Rolling Stones and everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Blink-182 is classic rock.
Right. The Gin Blossoms or whatever.
Yeah. It's just interesting because now in a TikTok generation, when they're watching 10-second, 15-second clips, for them to listen to a song for 3.5 minutes is almost a big commitment, right?
Right.
And we would pay to go see bands. Now they're paying to go see some guy at a DJ.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
Do we sound old so far?
Yeah.
So you're in college. So after Santa Monica, does Santa Monica provide any kind of opportunities in theater or talent shows, that kind of thing? So are you starting to excel?
That was actually the first time I ever sang in front of a large audience. I was 17 years old. I was a senior at Santa Monica, and I sang a song called "Vanishing" by Mariah Carey, and it was just a little talent show that we had, and it was in front of the whole school. But I did it a cappella because I didn't have a way to have a track. You didn't have YouTube and all the things that we have today on the internet. So anyway, I was like, you know what? I can do this without music. And the first part of the song is very quiet and slow, and I could tell, there's a bunch of kids in the audience, and they start grumbling and getting, and I'm like, why is everybody talking? So I just skipped to the part where I start belting, and when I started doing that, then everybody was clapping and paying attention. And anyway, that was the first time I ever. So that Golden Dome, that's where first time I ever sang, in front of a large audience.
Well, if it's in front of the entire school, Santa Monica is what, 2,000 students? Or?
It was a lot. The dome was full, so however many you can fit. But I wasn't. I've never really been nervous to sing. Because I want to do it, so I enjoy it so much.
Yeah, you've never been nervous, you say, and you told me that you don't drink. Like a lot of people, got to throw a few back to kill the anxiety or whatever. But that's never been a.
No, in fact, I'm too.
We got a guy over there, our good friend.
Is he making fun?
Charles Pierce. He's pointing to himself. He might need a couple to knock down the anxiety.
Yeah.
But,
no, I'm too much of a control freak to drink. I want to make sure I'm like on point. I want to do the best job I can, and I don't want to be too relaxed. I want to know what I'm doing, and I want to know what I sound like, and and plus I just never liked alcohol. I don't like the way it tastes. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I just don't like it.
Well, and that's interesting because you've always been around it, right?
Yep. And it's never been a temptation.
Yeah.
I mean, I have drank alcohol before, but that's how I know I don't like it.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not breaking any news, but there's been countless musicians who they get in that atmosphere, that environment, and night after night, it's, killing a 12-pack or whatever the case may be, and waking up the next day or not sleeping well and doing the same thing over and over, and you just kind of destroying yourself to an extent. So that's great to hear that you've never gone down that path. So you leave Santa Monica, you go to LSU, and what are the opportunities at LSU like?
As far as music?
Music, performing. And
well, they didn't really give me much opportunity. I was in the acting program over there. I took acting classes, but I never really did much with that. But when we started, I actually was hired on with a dance band, and whenever this was in early 1995, like January of 1995, and then shortly after that, they changed the age of drinking.
Yeah.
And that totally changed what we had to work with as far as our crowds and opportunities to play. So that's when the little coffee shop duos and trios started popping up, and one of the persons that was in the dance band with me, we got together and made like a little duo, and we just used my name, and that's how it all started.
So when is it, and I guess it goes back to my earlier question, so when are you getting into the bar scene or the club scene and becoming I've heard the stories. Lots of guys in the 90s went to go see Allison Collins at the Catering.
Yeah.
And that became, I don't know what the Catering's capacity was, Chuck, 500 maybe, something like that. Up 700, something like that.
400? Wait. 800?
800.
Whoa.
Okay, so that's actually the varsity's capacity now. They used to put 1,000 in there, and then they had the.
I was not getting enough money.
So you thinking lots of times you're up there and there's 800 people there.
Oh, no. I think we would have like 350, 400 people.
And you're playing what night of the week typically?
Thursday. I
Chuck
played
says
Thursday.
you're being too modest, so you had more than that. Thursday night was your night?
Thursday night. My name was on the sign. They used to have a sign right by Perkins. Is that the street Perkins right that runs in front of?
Yeah, that's right. It's not Essen.
There was a sign, and it had all the different names, and my name was on the side of the street for like 6 years. And I think so. A lot of people knew that name before, and they probably didn't even know who I was or what I did, but they knew the name because it was on the side of the street for 6 years.
And this is when you get going, right? This is when people really start knowing who you are.
We started playing on Thursdays, and it was crazy because like the next week people start lining up to come hear us play. And I think it was a few variables involved in that. I think that it was because there weren't really any other young girls at the time performing, and also we were playing music that not everyone was playing. We were taking things like Led Zeppelin, and we were doing it as a 3-piece. So we were real creative with how we were approaching that, and we were using all kinds of different auxiliary percussion and djembes and. Charles actually, I keep doing this because Charles is behind me and he was the one that was playing. So it was really eclectic and unique and original, even though we were playing cover music. It was very original the way that we were doing the cover music.
You just weren't painted by the numbers, you were putting your own spin on it.
Oh yeah, it was so different. It was so different, and it was just authentic and real and raw. And I think people liked that. And it didn't hurt that I was wearing a crop, I had my shirt cropped, which, by the way, I was thinking about that the other day. I did not do that to show off my stomach. I didn't even know that I had a six-pack at the time, which isn't that crazy? I didn't even think about that. I just wanted to sing, and I would sit there and sing for like 4 hours, and I would sweat, and I didn't want anything on my stomach because I wanted to be able to just feel free. And so I started, just like you'd work out, with a crop top. That's how I performed. And so one of my friends said, "Girl, you got a six-pack." And I was like, "I do?" And I didn't even know. I didn't even care. I just wanted to sing. So, but that probably didn't hurt,
Well, it didn't hurt Gwen Stefani, who was about the same time, right, breaking out with No Doubt.
Yeah, she was I think she's a little bit older than me.
I think she is, yeah.
I like saying that. Because I'm not older than most, so when another performer is older than me, I have to highlight that.
Yeah. Well, being a girl in the game, did that set you apart? Did it, not to downplay your talent, obviously you had a lot of talent, but the combination of your talent and there's this girl out here rocking, did that make it kind of, whoa, let's go see this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it made me stand out, definitely. And I could do songs that the guys couldn't do because I could do, even when I did the male songs that I did, they were higher, like the Steve Perry stuff and the Led Zeppelin stuff. So that it gave me the ability to do songs that the other guy singers in town weren't doing.
Yeah. What did you have a lot of female friends?
Not really.
Not really. Mm-mm. I was just curious, what they thought about you're singing Led Zeppelin. I mean, I don't know how that registered with
I didn't really
20-year-old girls in 1995.
No, I didn't really have a lot of. I have the most amazing female friends now in my life, but back then, no, I was kind of bottled up in the. Oh, I just hit my mic. Sorry. No, I didn't really have a lot of female friends.
Yeah.
Back then.
Now you told me, and then some people may find this hard to believe, like the fact you didn't realize you're showing off your six-pack or whatever, but you weren't picking up on the fact that there were a lot of guys that were going to see you.
Honest to God, now I know because people approach me all the time and said I was so in love with you, or my husband said he drank your bath water. I mean, all this crazy stuff all the time. I found out that the LSU baseball team was all coming out to see me and stuff. At that time, no. I had no, it was, all I cared about was I was trying to graduate LSU. I had to get sleep. I had to take care of my vocal cords, and I wanted to sing. And then I had my eyes on, I was trying to get a record deal. This is back when they had record deals, record labels. I was working with
record stores.
Right? I was working with MCA. I was working with Elektra. I was, is it Elektra? Is that what it was?
I think, that was a company.
We were writing. We were, I was focused on going in the studio, and I didn't really care about any of that. And I just wanted to sing, and I wanted to just be able to have a music career. So I didn't think about that.
Yeah. And back then, a guy had to go up to a girl and talk to her. Right?
That's the way it was, and we liked it like that.
That's right. There was no social media, and I'll DM her later or send her a Facebook message or whatever, right? So
it's funny that you say that, because I do have a couple of funny memories of, like, there was this guy, I shouldn't even say this because he probably won't see this. But there was a guy I saw one night, and it's so funny how guys just read into things. Like, you can make a comment about a shirt.
She likes me.
She loves me. She's in love. So I saw this one guy, I think it might have been at the catering, and I thought he kind of looked like Matthew Broderick. But he wasn't anywhere as cute as Matthew Broderick at the time. But I just felt like, you kind of look like him. And he said, "Is that a good thing?" And I'm like, "What am I supposed to say?" I was like, yeah, it's a good thing. Well, I had a gig the next night at a place right down the street, and I was delivered a dozen red roses, and it was from Matthew, and that wasn't his name. But anyway, like, that sort of thing would kind of happen to me sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's the, even on the local level, did you want to be famous? And then you become famous, and then it's like, oh.
So it's like, I didn't want to be famous for the sake of being famous. I just knew that if I was famous, it means that I'm getting to do what I want to do with my music. So I looked at it like that. Mm-hmm. I want to do my originals, I want to tour, I just want to experience the whole music life and sing. And if you do that and you're good at it, you're going to be famous.
So the catering thing on Thursday night, that thing is a home run every week, pretty much?
It was for a while, yeah. Yeah.
And what does that lead? Does that lead to something else? I
got pregnant and I had a baby, so I had to kind of take some time off for that. And I don't even really know what happened after the catering.
Yeah. Did you write original material?
Yes.
And were you waiting on, like we said, I mean, I was in Lafayette. I wasn't around for all this, but I remember we had Spank the Monkey in Lafayette, who was starting to rise up, and we go see them at Poets every other Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And you start hearing they had a couple their originals. They had a song called Sweet Daisy. I remember they played on 96.5 in Lafayette. And it's like, are they going to get a record deal? Is it going to come together? So kind of the same thing going on with you. It's like, okay, this girl's good, but you don't make it on other people's music. You only make it on your own. So
right.
What's going to happen?
Yeah. So, yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. My music wasn't being played on the radio, but we were setting up some stuff for me to tour. And my goal was to get out of the bar scene. I was just tired. I was tired of working and, singing other people's music, and I just felt like I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life.
Right.
And then I ended up doing it for the rest of my life.
So are you getting some sniffs? I'm trying to think of so there was I remember, well, the big ones were like Warner Brothers and Columbia and Sony. I mean, all these.
I had MCA. MCA gave me some money to do a artist development type thing, and then and Elektra Records was interested in me. They would come out, and anyway.
So do you have okay, these are 5 great songs I've got, or 2, or 1, or this is what I'm going to pitch them?
Yeah, but I never really was happy with everything. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
Jacques, it didn't work out.
Well, there's different levels of working out, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of our heroes died early. Realize that, right?
Yeah. Well, I praise God I'm still alive.
There you go. And sober and clean.
Yes.
And healthy.
And happy.
And happy.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you happier today? Is there less of an edge to you than there used to be?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Charles can attest to that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I mean, don't take this in the wrong way, but I do find that you are more warm, welcoming. You could be intimidated by you in the past, perhaps to an extent.
I still get told that I have, the resting B word face. But I have been perceived as like a snobby kind of person, but that wasn't really me at all. It's just that when I was at the gig, I was so concerned about my voice. I didn't want to talk to people because I had to preserve my voice, because I was like, I don't know if you've ever heard Joe DiMaggio talk about how he would just give 110% every game, and they'd like, hey, it's not that big of a deal. Why are you working so hard? And he's like, there might be somebody here to come to see me, and I want to give them what they came for. And so that's how I looked at my gigs. I wanted to be 100% all the time, and I put a lot of pressure on myself, and it was very stressful.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking about it before. When you're a singer, this is your instrument, and as opposed to if I'm a guitarist and I catch a cold, I can still play, or bass or drums,
right.
or whatever.
Or if it breaks, you just get another guitar.
Yeah.
So.
But when you're the singer, and one of my heroes, Eddie Van Halen, he would describe it as LSD. He called it lead singer's disease, which obviously he had a share of singers and drama there. But is there such thing as lead singer's disease?
Like they're like divas or
yeah,
something?
ego. I think he described it as me and the world. Everything rotates around me.
Yeah. Well, you just have to think about this. When the band screws up, they're going to look at the lead singer. Mm-hmm. And the lead singer needs to hear themselves. They need to have the energy. They're leading everything. That's why they're the lead singer.
Right.
It's not that they're the only singer most of the time. But anyway, it's just, the spotlight is on you, and you just want everything to be the way that it needs to be so that you can do the best job possible. And that's just how it is.
That is true. Like even feedback, they look at the singer like
Yeah.
you're running sound or something.
Yeah.
Like it's your fault.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. And then you've got to have the gift of gab sometimes to tap dance, right? Because there's sometimes where you're ready to go into the song, but there's technical problems going on,
Yeah.
and we got to stall and
Right.
all that.
Yeah.
Some jokes. You got a few jokes you can tell to the crowd, or how do you? Yeah,
Me?
how do you deal with that? I mean, have you ever had one of those situations, or we've had to delay or stall, or you just take a walk off stage and said, "Get your what together. I'll be back in 5 minutes."
I can't recall anything like that happening to me, that I was just, Actually, that did happen to me though. God, you're just bringing back I got like a moth flying out of my ear just now. When the one time I did Jazz Fest, I just hit the mic again. The one time I did Jazz Fest, something was going, in fact, Chris LeBlanc was with me, and I think Lynn Boudreau was on drums, and there was a technical issue, and poor Lynn just had to keep playing drums. He was the only person up there on stage. We were all on stage, but something was wrong, and so he just having to play the drums, and I'm just sitting there just going, okay, we're having a technical issue. Lynn, just keep playing. I didn't know what to do, but that did happen. That's the only thing I can remember.
Is it a special group? I mean, you mentioned Chris. Is it like, are you guys all buddies? I mean, you all kind of know each other's, you grew up together in this, and...
Well, Chris and I just texted the other day, and he comments a lot on my Facebook page, and we'll text each other here and there. And in fact, I invited him to come over and visit with me and Terry, and he's like, "I love y'all,
Allison. You look so good.
Love y'all.
You still sound so great, Allison. How you doing?"
Yeah.
Soft-spoken, sweet guy. Really, incredibly talented guy.
Yep.
I got a friend of mine who plays guitar, plays it really well, and he says, "I go watch Chris LeBlanc, and it just really humbles me."
Yeah.
That guy can play like he does.
Yeah, he could do it in his sleep.
Yeah, and versatile, right? I mean, can play a Beatles song, can play heavier, can play Cajun, can play
Blues,
all that stuff. What were you growing up on? What were your influences?
Oh, well, rock. I mean, rock and roll. That's what I grew up, like Heart and Journey and Boston and the Eagles. Like, that I was born in '75, so
yeah. My
parents were very young when they had me, and that's what they listened to.
I saw Hart. They played the River Center recently. Ann was in a wheelchair recently. She's still sitting. I think she just turned 75. Nancy still playing the guitar, looking great. She's 71. Put on a great show. It's still a pretty good show. It's still a case of, I think they played 45 minutes. They took a break, and then they played another 45 minutes. So there were like a lot of songs that I felt like they could have played, but they didn't. But still played Barracuda and there's a lot of those bands like them, like they have their 70s breakout where it's Magic Man and Barracuda and all those.
Crazy on You.
Crazy on You, yeah, exactly. And then the 80s, great songs, just more polished, more poppy, more keyboard.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say that about like Aerosmith, Van Halen, Hart.
And it's not just the instrumentation that changed, it's the way that they record. A lot of things became more compressed, whereas it used to be just warmer analog type sound. And then now they have a lot of effects compressing the drums, and it just sounds real polished, where the older songs are just more raw and organic, which I love. I love that.
Yeah. Because in the 80s, well, they're doing with cells, and I guess the keyboards came along and they started putting that into almost everything and started selling millions, making a lot of money. Like Chicago, you a fan of Chicago?
Absolutely.
Like some of the Chicago fans, they like, 25-6, whatever that song.
25-64. I used to do that one.
Saturday in the Park, that's Chicago, and then I grew up on You're the Inspiration and stuff like that, the Peter Cetera, right?
Right.
That's more polished, and that's not Chicago, but it sold a lot of copies, made a lot of money.
Right.
So,
and it's good music. That's good. The newer stuff is good.
Yeah. What did you think about grunge when that hit?
Grunge metal. I liked Nirvana, and I liked Even Flow. Pearl Jam. I liked that song. I remember I was a junior in high school when that came out, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Don't you feel like it went, though, from kind of happy to we're all depressed and bummed out? Like late 80s, we had Motley Crue, Girls, 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 and Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me, and everything was party and happy. And then Nirvana comes around, and we're all, got to buy a flannel shirt, and I hate my parents, and Jeremy spoke in class today, stuff like that.
Yeah, it was dark.
It was dark.
It was dark, but it was
real.
It was real.
Yeah.
It was real. I think the 80s stuff started off a certain way, and then it just became,
Well, I saw one of your Facebook posts a while back. You were
Lord.
You were like excited to see, and this falls into Nelson had come, the two pretty guys. And I loved that song, Love and Affection. That was a great song. But I think when it started getting into Nelson and like Winger and Warrant, Cherry Pie and all that, I think they finally said, this is saccharine. This is not real. And
and Warrant didn't even want to put Cherry Pie out. I'm friends with his ex-wife, the lead singer's ex-wife, Bobby Brown. She's one of my really good friends, so I kind of know the story behind all
Janie
that.
Lane was the lead singer, the lead singer.
Who was incredibly talented. Great writer, amazing, beautiful voice. I thought he was very talented. But, you have to do what the system...
He wanted the name of the album to be Uncle Tom's Cabin. He wanted the lead single to be Uncle Tom's Cabin. And they said, we don't hear a Love in the Elevator on here, like the Aerosmith. We need a hit. And he goes, I wrote this stupid song, Cherry Pie.
Yeah. And well, he got a kid out of it. Who's a sweetheart, by the way, Taylor. But, it's funny. That was one of my first concerts that I went to. Warrant was playing there. And they played that Uncle Tom's Cabin. And it was like a debut. It was like it hadn't been out yet. No one had heard it.
Yeah.
It was the
the Cajun Dome you're talking about?
No, it was. I don't know where it was. I can't remember. It might have been UNO. Okay. I can't remember. It might have been the River Center. But it was the concert that the bass player hit accidentally Janie in the eye. Okay. They would get on there. Two of the members would get on the backs of the other and play guitar, and I don't know. Anyway, he hit his eye, and I saw it. And then, like, the next day, they were, like, at the Grammys or something, and he had, like, a cut. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I know what happened there.
before the internet, right? Before it was around the world and back in
Right.
5 minutes.
2 seconds.
We would know what would happen. Okay, I do bounce all over the place. So 2003, you walk away from playing the bars and clubs and all that.
Yes.
Jimmy Swaggart has recently passed away. That's big news. You were singing there for
Yes, 5.5 years.
5.5 years. So you go from singing Led Zeppelin and Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Pat Benatar and all that, to a much different environment, right? Well, just if you can, sum that up for me.
The environment?
Or just the whole experience. Why did you do it?
Well, why I did it because I felt like the Lord wanted me to at the time. And I just was tired. I was tired of what I was doing. And this was an door that opened up for me. And I just felt like that's where God wanted me to go. And I went there for 5.5 years, and I learned some good things and I learned some bad things. But I did get 2 more kids out of it, and I mentioned this to you before. I had already had 1 child, and I know that I would have never had my other 2 kids if I wouldn't have left the secular music scene and gone to Jimmy Swaggart's church, because it allowed me to continue to pay my bills, making money, but not have to go in the clubs 5 days a week, or I was 4 days a week, and because you just can't do that. You can't be pregnant on stage and having babies and trying to raise them and getting them to school at 7 a.m. And sing until 2 a.m. So, it's one of those things where at the time, I didn't really see the bigger picture, but now as I'm older and I look how it all played out. In fact, when he passed away, I was thinking, wow, if it weren't for that man giving me that opportunity, I wouldn't have my 2 younger children. And I just,
Yeah. And you said that the relationship with him was always professional. He treated you well and everything.
He treated me like a granddaughter. He was always sweet and respectful, and he teased me a little bit. He called me Squeejinks.
Squeejinks?
I don't know why he called me Squeejinks. He'd say, "Hey there, little lady," and I'd say, "Hey there, old man," and some of the religious people got mad because I was calling him old man, but I didn't grow up watching him, and so I didn't really know or understand who he was. So people would be working there and they would be all, "Oh my gosh, it's Jimmy Swaggart," and I would just be like, "That's Jimmy Swaggart." It just didn't. Well, and I think that's why he liked me, because I was just real with him.
Yeah. It wasn't, "Oh, you're one of my heroes," and "Oh, I'm in awe of you," and that kind of thing. Yeah. My dad had a heart surgery in St. Louis. Long story short, we're in the waiting room while this surgery's going on, and we're all obviously on pins and needles, and there was an elderly lady in there, started talking to us. "Where are you from?" "We're from Baton Rouge." And she goes, "Oh, Baton Rouge, the Jimmy Swaggart Ministries. I really want to go there and see." So that just kind of struck me that day. I was like, wow, this guy is really known, around the country for doing this stuff. People think of Baton Rouge, a lot of people think of that.
Yeah, I think Donald Trump even wrote a letter to regarding his passing to the family, and then Franklin Graham said something. I think that's huge.
This wasn't to me, and I talked to you about this too. It would seem like this might be a step up in your exposure, or at least getting you out there, cameras and.
Yeah, and that's not why I did it.
Yeah.
And I felt like, if anything, in the world's eyes, it was a step down, because I had my band and I had notoriety and I was even making decent money. But I just felt like the Lord was leading me in a different direction at the time in my life, and I followed it.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't feel like it was a step up. If anything, it was.
You were dressing much differently.
Yeah.
You look like a lawyer, kind of.
Yeah.
An attorney, Mm-hmm. Allison's going to court today.
Please
look
don't,
great.
Please don't bring play any of that.
Yeah, no. Those videos don't exist anymore. You can't find them. No, I won't. I won't dig those up. So 2009, you walk away from that.
Yes.
And then ever since, you've been performing as you did before.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a new season, And actually, I just don't. There's a I could go into some things, but I want to be respectful, and I just want to keep it positive. So I did leave the place, and that's all I'm going to say right now. And if the Lord wants me to share that whole story one day, He'll make a way, and it'll just fall into place and happen naturally. But yeah, I got out of that and in 2009 and started playing again in the restaurants, really, mostly because.
Well, you're mostly doing your trio now.
Yeah, we do a lot of trio gigs. Mm-hmm.
And your husband is the bass player.
Yes, Terry.
And so is that great for the both? I mean, you enjoy it playing gigs with your husband?
Absolutely. I mean, we've had our hiccups here and there. I mean, no marriage is perfect, especially if you work together, you know, and you spend all your time together. But I just knew that. I mean, I just don't think that it would be an appropriate thing for a woman to be spending time in, whether we're playing. We don't really play bars, but it's just. I want to be able to be with my husband on the weekend. And so it just works out perfect and that's not why I married him. Everything just fell into place.
Well, like Ben 77, that's where I saw you the other day. Mm-hmm. Nice outdoor place. People are eating food, drinking some wine, beer, whatever. Relaxed atmosphere, and you're playing. Those are the kind of gigs you're playing. Yeah,
it's really cool that I get to do that with my husband, who's like my best friend.
So. Do you ever say, "Damn, you really clunked that note on the opener," or he says, "Allison, you really missed the note on that"?
He doesn't really get onto my notes because he knows he can't get on my notes. but he will say you're falling behind on the tambourine. Like he'll get on to me about that. Like you slow down a little bit. Which, I mean, when you're doing that like for 4 hours, your arm gets tired. But anyway, I'm making excuses for myself. But anyway, but yeah, no, I can't. I have no poker face, and in my ear, if I hear one, like he'll sing. I have two guys that sing backgrounds with me, and if I hear one little thing, I'm like, and he can tell like I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like that, but
do you get antsy sitting there in one place? Because I've watched some videos of you where you're doing, is it Destiny's Child? Jumpin', like you're a physical performer.
Yeah.
And in this case, you're not a physical performer. You're kind of stationary.
Yeah. No, I don't get antsy. I like relaxing.
Okay, good.
Because I do these fitness classes all the time, so it's like it's nice just to chill. But no, when I'm on stage, I do dance. I mean, I enjoy dancing.
Well, and that's another change, right? Because when we're in college or whatever, it's like, yeah, man, we're not going out till 10:30, 11. We're not even going to go out till that time. And 10:30 or 11, these days, you're close to being asleep if you're not already, right? You want to wrap this thing up and get home. Right. And the people you're playing for are the same. Yeah. They don't want to go to a concert and the headliner takes the stage at 11 o'clock.
Right. I'm always thinking about the next day. Like I don't want to waste my day. I want to get up and feel good in the morning. And you start a gig at 11, you go to bed at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and your next day is just shot.
Yeah.
So
you want to play more gigs? Just the change in Baton Rouge, the lack of venues, the lack of money being invested into the entertainment is
definitely. But I would love to get more private parties. Private parties are great. They're great paying, and they usually have good food with them.
Right.
But we're a really good band. I mean, my full band my trio is really good, but we're a great wedding band. But we don't market ourselves that much as a wedding band. People are like shocked when they hear that we do weddings and that we're actually really affordable. So if you want to give me a plug out there for.
Well, how can people contact you? Do you have a website or your Facebook page?
My Facebook page, or I can give them my number. You can post my number on this, like when you go back and edit it or whatever.
I'll put it in the comment section about that or something like that.
Yeah.
And so Allison, this is like Dylan Cruz in the LSU lineup, leading off. You're playing the Caterer reunion August 9th Chuck over here will be on drums. Is Cam playing guitar on this? Okay.
Yep.
Cam Powell's going to play some guitar. And Ben Cassio, a good friend of mine who plays in a band called Regeneration, he came up with this idea a couple years ago to get bands together that used to play at the Catering before it burned down. And we've done 2 of them. And certainly the one name that came up in the although they've been very, very successful, big crowds, raised a lot of money, the one name that keeps coming up in the comments, where's Allison Collins? Why isn't Allison Collins playing? Get Allison Collins. So this year we've got you. So I'm excited.
Yes. I'm excited too.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. We had a rehearsal the other day with Charles, and I call him Charles. That's just all I've ever known him. Or Bongo Boy. With Cam, and it's going to be fun. And you probably don't know this, but Cam was actually my guitar instructor when I was 12.
Is that right?
Yes. Isn't that crazy? And I even told him, I said, if you would have told me when I was a kid that one day you'd be sitting in my living room rehearsing with me to go do this, I would have been like...
Well, Cam, I think Cam told me the first song he ever learned was Lack of Communication by Rat. I think that's it. It was a Rat song, whatever it was. But it was funny to look at Cam's pictures over the years, the long hair and then the shorter hair.
Oh, he was so cute. I had the biggest crush on him.
Oh, wow.
He kind of looked like Andre Agassi. I'm not joking.
Yeah, you know what? You got.
I mean, he was just like, I remember going, it was at Music Incorporated in Gonzales, and I walked in, I had my little, I think it was like a RGX 112 Yamaha Midnight Blue electric guitar that I had. I got it for Christmas. And I walked in and I saw him and I was just like, oh gosh, I'm gonna be so shy.
Like the posters that used to be on the walls, right? Like from 1989, Andre Agassi had that long, mullety, blonde, dirty blonde hair.
Yeah.
And, okay, well, so this is like the reporter JD now asking. So, Allison, how do you feel about playing the Caterer Union and raising money for charity? Are you looking forward to it?
I am very much looking forward to it. Yes, I really am.
So what is it about this that appeals to you? Or what is it about it that says, hey, I want to do this?
Because I don't think you guys would have left me alone if I...
Maybe not. You'd been like when they did that Bayou Country Superfest every year and like, Garth is going to come next year. Garth Brooks is coming next year. He doesn't come, and finally, then he finally comes on his own. But no, we certainly looking forward to having you there, and you're going to play about 45 minutes or so, I would guess.
Yes.
That's about, what is that, about 10 songs, 12?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. You did not play an instrument, right? You never played guitar or anything? Or?
I mean, I play guitar, but I don't like to play guitar. So I never play. When I did my original shows, I would play guitar. But I just liked being free to dance around and move and not worry about something going out of tune and having to tune it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've always played like percussion stuff.
Got you. And tell people about your workout.
Oh, so yeah.
Career.
Okay. Well, I only train women. So I do personal training. I'll go to your house if you're not too far from my house, which... If you were interested, you'd have to get in touch with me, and I'll talk to them about that. But yeah, I do personal training. I'll whip you into shape.
Okay. And it's good that you do a job that keeps you in shape. You don't have to say, okay, I got to get to the gym in the morning or the evening to get my workout in. Your job is your workout.
Yeah. I'm so thankful for that.
So how heavy did you get into working out? When was the time that you really
started working out?
Like 2020, you said, more seriously?
Oh, like when I started it. No, I've always taught, but it just started. But yeah, right after COVID, when the gigs kind of tanked for a while, and I needed to have another form of income, I started doing more personal training, and I started teaching more classes at the fitness center at the Women's Center for Wellness, which is where I teach.
Okay.
Women's Center for Wellness.
All right. Is there anything else you want to plug on that?
I would also on the fitness or just anything else.
In general, I've kept you long enough.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. I wanted to do one more plug. I do a Bible Zoom because I'm a born again Christian. I love Jesus and I love the Bible, and I teach it every Tuesday at 7 p.m. On Zoom, and so I can put that information. Give you that information too. If anybody can log on, you don't have to turn your mic on, your video on. You can just listen, and we just look what the Bible says. It's nothing about religion or anything. I got Catholics, I got Protestants, and so I would like to invite, if anybody was curious as to what it says. I do that at 7:00 on Tuesday nights.
And that's a live stream on YouTube, or?
Nope, it's just Bible. It's a Zoom. It's a Zoom call. So
Okay.
I have my own Zoom number that I pay $17.99 a month to have. And you just click Zoom, and then you put in my little. It's very easy to remember. It's 225, 3 3s, and 4 4s.
Okay, it sounds like one of those
225,
Dudley DeBosier
3
or
3.
Spencer Callahan or Gordon McKernan.
4 4 4 4. Which Gordon McKernan? That's the guy that's got his face everywhere.
Well, yeah, to an extent, and does sponsor Red Rock and Blue. Thanks, Gordon.
Well, he let me.
And I yell at LSU. So
he actually was at a gig of mine a while back. It was a private party, and he let me strangle him. I said, dude, can I put my hands around you and act like I'm strangling? Because everybody's aggravated about seeing his face everywhere. He's like, sure.
I mean, look.
He was really
the
nice.
times I've interacted and interviewed him, he really is a nice guy, and he does lean into. Yeah, my dad, he talks about his dad. His dad was definitely conservative, attorney. We don't need to buy billboards and all that.
Yeah.
And when Gordon took over, I think his slogan is anything worth doing is worth overdoing. And I think one of the funnier pictures I saw was a picture, it's like first shot of Mars, people landing on Mars, and way in the back there was a Gordon McKernan billboard up. So, all right. Well, look, we look forward to seeing you August 9th. Thanks so much for coming down. Great
My
seeing
pleasure.
you. And
Good to see you.
check out our Who Dat song too.
Oh yeah, thank
That's
you.
I
forgot about that.
Yeah, the Who Dat song.
It's called "I'm a Who Dat."
I'm a Who Dat. You're over 80,000 views on YouTube, and great stuff.
Yeah, you need to get that in the dome for me. Maybe that'll help the Saints out.
I think you and I have about as much pull with the Saints. They like me, okay, I guess. Maybe I could bring that up to them.
Okay.
Send them the link. Get this up. I mean, a football game's 3.5 hours long. Certainly, they got 3 minutes to throw that up at some point.
Yeah.
I think so. Allison Collins Acosta. Thanks for dropping by Jacques Talk. We'll see you later.